Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Razia and I'm here to help you make better skincare choices. Subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified of my weekly uploads, and you can check me out on Instagram and TikTok for more. Let me know in the comments down below if you're also from Sydney or from New South Wales and you're currently stuck in lockdown like I am. I will admit I actually have been feeling pretty flat like around the last week or so. How much of that is due to lockdown, who knows, but I don't know if anyone else is out there feeling the same way. Let me know in the comments down below. I'm interested to see if it's just me, if it's just the lockdown woes. But anyway, enough about that. It'll be over soon enough, hopefully. Let's just hope they don't extend it again. And let's talk about some skincare. Specifically, let's talk about some myths, misconceptions, and common areas of misunderstanding. And admittedly, these are some things that up until recently I didn't know myself. So in today's video, I'm gonna go over 5 common skincare misconceptions. The first one is a pretty big one, and that's alcohol in skincare. Turns out it's not all that bad, actually. I think for quite a while we had a lot of influencers that would really demonize alcohol in your skincare. They would turn the bottle around, read the ingredient list, and if denatured alcohol was listed anywhere on that product was an automatic no. And then coming off the back of that, we had a lot of experts come out and tell us why it's actually not that bad if we do have denatured alcohol listed in the ingredient list of our skincare products. If you do want a really in-depth video about this from an expert herself, I highly recommend you check out Lab Muffin Beauty Science. She made a video talking all about alcohol in skincare. So check that video out if you want a really in-depth explanation. I'm just gonna go over the basics in this one. There's actually quite a few reasons why there might be alcohol in your skincare products, so I'm gonna go over some of those now. The first reason for having alcohol in skincare is that it actually makes for a really good solvent. This means that other ingredients dissolve better into the product itself, and it makes for an overall more elegant formulation. Alcohol in your skincare can also help the product to penetrate deeper into the skin as well. This is why you find alcohol in a lot of your favorite sunscreens, because it's able to help all of those different filters dissolve and come together nicely in the product, and that way you end up with a really nice, elegant sunscreen formula. For example, the La Roche-Posay Invisible Fluid. This one has a very lightweight consistency, it's very watery, and it would not be able to be that lightweight if it wasn't for the high amount of denatured alcohol in that product. Alcohol is also quick drying and evaporates off the skin really fast, and it really helps to make it a much more elegant formula than it would be otherwise. And another point to mention when it comes to alcohol in skincare is that there's actually different types of alcohol. You've got your denatured alcohol, which is the one that seems to be demonized quite a bit, and then you've also got your fatty alcohols. There are some fatty alcohols that are actually quite commonly found in moisturizers. I'll list some of them over here for you. Because alcohol gets such a bad rap in skincare, I've gotten so many messages over time from people saying, oh, CeraVe's got alcohol in there, must mean it's really bad. And that's just not the case, because these ones are actually fatty alcohols and they make for really good moisturizing ingredients. So if you did have any concerns about alcohol in your skincare products, hopefully this could help answer those for you. Let's move on to the next common misconception, and that's pores. For a long time, I think many of us were under the impression that your pores open and close, the way my mouth is opening and closing as I'm speaking, but that is just not the case. That's actually not how it works. Your pores don't open and close like that. Using a steam machine is not gonna open your pores, and washing your face with cold water is not gonna close your pores. That's just not how it works. Instead, what can happen is that your pores can actually dilate, and this is usually when they're clogged or when they're producing a lot of oil. So that's why it's more common with those that have a more oily skin type. They may find that they have larger pores than they would expect to have, and this is just because your pores are producing more oil than those with normal to dry skin, so your pores appear larger. There are ways that you can combat this if you feel that you have to, and that's using ingredients like niacinamide or salicylic acid to help balance that sebum production, and you can also use things like clay masks to absorb that excess oil and to help with reducing the appearance of your pores. And in terms of completely obliterating the appearance of your pores on your skin, that unfortunately is impossible. I have the driest skin ever, and my pores are still visible on my face. Pores are a natural part of our skin. Our skin has to have pores to function properly, and if you got rid of them completely, I think that would really greatly disrupt the function of your skin. They're normal, we all have them. don't feel as though you need to get rid of them. The next skincare misconception I'm going to cover is cleansing. Cleansing is very important. We know that. I'm always going on about how important cleansing is, which it is, and we should all be doing it daily. What you don't necessarily have to be doing is cleansing both morning and evening. I don't cleanse in the morning, and I think I've mentioned this a couple of times. Every time I've mentioned it, I get questions, why don't you cleanse in the morning? Don't you feel like you have to? Don't you have to wash off the skincare from the night before? And the answer to that is no, you don't have to cleanse in the morning if you feel that you don't have to, and you don't actually have to wash off your skincare from the night before. Usually if you've slept at least 5-6 hours, your skincare has absorbed into your skin, that you're not washing it off in the morning. So let's just get that answer out of the way. Why I personally don't cleanse in the morning is because I've got very dry skin. So just in general, I like to minimize the amount of times I wash my face during the day. And I feel like if I'm using a cleanser both morning and evening, it's just unnecessarily stripping to my skin, even if I'm using gentle cleansers. It's just better to minimize how many times I'm doing that, and that way I'm not disrupting my dry skin too much. So in the morning, I just wash my face with water, that's it. Go directly into my morning skincare routine and no problems. And then I'll cleanse my face properly at the end of the day. On the other hand, if your skin is very oily or you're very acne prone, then you might find benefit in cleansing both in the morning and in the evening. But if you're someone that's struggling with dry, dehydrated skin, try minimizing the amount of times you're washing your face, the amount of times you're cleansing during the day, and see if that helps with your dry skin. The next skincare misconception I'm going to cover is in regards to oils. Oils actually do not hydrate and moisturize your skin the way that we've all been made to assume that they do. Just off the bat, I don't use face oils. I just don't like the feeling of having a direct oil on my face. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it, so I don't use them. But for those of you that do use them and maybe are using them in place of a moisturizer, this is actually not the thing that you want to be doing, because oils simply do not hydrate the skin in any way, shape or form. Oils are not able to hold onto water, which means they're not able to help hydrate and draw moisture into the skin. And that's what we need to keep our skin hydrated. At best, oils work as an emollient, which means they help to keep the skin feel really nice and soft, and they work as an occlusive, which means they sit on the top layer of the skin and they prevent water loss from occurring. That's why we use moisturizers that have a blend of occlusives, emollients and humectants. Humectants like glycerin and hyaluronic acid are able to hold on to water molecules, and as they penetrate deep into the skin, they take that water and hydration with them. If you want to use an oil, you can. Just make sure to use a moisturizer first. And that way you're getting your humectants, you're getting your water and moisture drawn into the skin, and then you're sealing all of that off with an oil, and that way you're not going to be losing any of that water as well. So yes, there is a place for oils in your skincare, it's just not in place of a moisturizer. The last skincare misconception we're going to talk about is sun protection. Fun fact, sunscreen should not be your only line of defense when it comes to sun protection. Yes, sunscreen is very important and we should all be applying it every single day, especially if we're going to be outside for long periods of time. But sunscreen should not be the only method of sun protection that you're using. I think we've definitely had a little bit of a sunscreen uprising online. A lot of people are starting to use sunscreen that probably weren't before, and that's because a lot of us are talking about it now. And with that comes, I guess, the sunscreen haters that say, look, I wore sunscreen to the beach and I still got sunburn. That's because sunscreen shouldn't be your only line of defense against the sun, especially if you're going to be out at the beach all day. If you want to make sure you're staying as protected as possible from the sun, you want to make sure you're wearing protective clothing as well. You want to wear a wide brimmed hat, sunglasses, and if you can, stay in the shade as well. Sun protection does not start and finish with sunscreen. There are many other forms of sun protection you should uphold as well, and that way you can make sure you're not getting any sun damage or any sunburn when you're out all day long. I mean, it is the winter time now in Australia anyway, so it's not like a lot of us are spending hours and hours at the beach, unless you live in Bondi, of course. But if you are spending lots of time outdoors and the sunscreen isn't quite cutting it, try using some of these other methods of sun protection as well. So those are my 5 skincare misconceptions that I wanted to talk about today. Let me know if you learned something new from this video. If you found it useful, leave me a like down below. It really does help my channel out so much. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and check out some of the other videos I've got on my channel. I've got some good ones on here for you, and I'll see you in the next one.